With the Galaxy Alpha, Samsung has finally transitioned to its long-promised metal build. A 4.7-inch 720p Super AMOLED device that feels significantly smaller and more compact than any flagship the company has released in the last couple of years. It's snappy thanks to a Snapdragon 801 chip and 2 gigs of RAM. But in many ways, this is a rejection of much of the utility and utilitarianism of the Galaxy S5. This is a very fashionable product, and the company is going to be marketing it as such. The metal frame lends it a much more secure and even safe feeling in the hand. The buttons are clicky, and overall, the thing just fits together more nicely than the Galaxy S5. There are some sacrifices that had to be made for such a slim and compact product. The battery took a hit at 1860 milliamp hours, and the screen is not quite as nice as we were hoping. We've seen much better 720p displays. On the software side, this is running Android 4.4.4 with TouchWiz implementation on top. It's very fast and colorful, but this is still TouchWiz through and through. Like the Note 4, the Alpha has a Flipboard-powered news briefing that is accessible from the left pane of your home screen. It's fast and you can customize your topics, but it's not so useful as to make the Flipboard app or any other news app not worth installing. Like the Galaxy S5, there are still way too many options on the Galaxy Alpha. If this is trying to be an iPhone competitor, it's still overwhelmed with features and places that you can customize your smartphone experience. Thankfully though, the video and photo taking experience on the Galaxy Alpha is quite robust. The 12 megapixel sensor is sharp and fast, and it retains many of those improvements from the Galaxy S5, including a single place where you can download new features rather than having to deal with them all by default. The photo taking experience here is one of the highlights of the device. Samsung's done a great job making sure that in any situation you can get a good shot, from including HDR to panorama to a one-touch video mode. And from the Galaxy S5, the heart rate monitor and fingerprint sensors have been ported over. And we found it to be quite a bit more accurate this time around, if only because the device is smaller and easier to operate with one hand. Samsung still hasn't figured out how to do fingerprint sensing the same way as Apple, and it's not quite as reliable. But on the 4.7-inch device that feels significantly smaller than the Galaxy S5, we were really happy with the overall experience. We haven't had a Samsung device this easy to use with one hand in quite a while, and the build quality feels like Samsung's taken a turn for the better. Its philosophy has been overhauled, and it feels much like an iPhone, and I know that that's what Samsung was going for. You can see here the metal buttons on the sides, and the bottom and top bezels are similar in many ways. Aside from screen resolution, our major knock against the Alpha is battery life. With an 1860 mAh battery, uptime was not quite up to par with the Galaxy S5 or the Galaxy Note 4, and users may have to recharge it once or twice throughout the day. Perhaps a more vexing question is where the Alpha fits in Samsung's lineup, with the S5 and Note 4 keeping the top highly saturated. There isn't a lot of place for a smaller but similarly powered 4.7-inch device, and users may not know why they would want to spend $150 on this device over $200 for the Galaxy S5, which is bigger, better, and faster.